The road to Black Hollow was never straight. It twisted and turned like it didn't want you to reach the village. The signboard had half its paint peeled off, as if it too wanted to disappear. Ananya sat quietly in the back seat of the bus, watching the fog swallow the fields outside. She had never heard of Black Hollow until last week. Her uncle had passed away mysteriously, and in his will, he had left her an old house in the village. The bus driver, a man in his late 50s with a wrinkled face, kept glancing at her in the rearview mirror. "You alone?" he asked. "Yes," she replied softly. He didn't say anything after that, but his eyes said enough people didn't come here alone. By the time the bus stopped, the sky was already turning gray. The air felt thicker, colder. A few villagers stood near the small bus stop, staring at her. Not curious, not friendly, just staring. The house was a 20-minute walk from the stop. The path was lined with leafless trees, their branches reaching out like skeletal hands. The crunch of her footsteps on the gravel felt too loud in the silence. When she finally saw it, her breath caught. The house was big, Victorian style, but falling apart. Windows were broken. The front door was slightly ajar, creaking with the wind. And yet, something about it felt as if it was waiting for her. Inside, the air was stale. Dust floated in the thin beams of light coming from the cracked windows. Furniture was covered with white sheets. Every creak of the wooden floor felt like someone was following her. She found her uncle's study on the second floor. The desk was neat, too neat for someone who died unexpectedly. On the table lay a single photograph. It was of her uncle and a shadowy figure standing just behind him. But the shadow had no face. She shivered. It must have been a trick of the light, right? That night, as she tried to sleep in one of the upstairs rooms, she heard its soft footsteps in the corridor. Slow, deliberate. She held her breath, waiting. The footsteps stopped right outside her door. Silence. And then 3 slow knocks. Ananya froze. Her eyes darted to the clock on the bedside table, 2:47 a.m. The kind of time when the world outside forgets you exists. Her heart pounded in her ears. The knocks had been slow, deliberate. Not the wind, not the house. Settling. Someone was there. She sat up slowly, her breath shaky. "Hello?" she whispered, immediately regretting it. No reply. The silence was so complete that it felt heavier than the knocks themselves. After what felt like an eternity, she slid out of bed, her bare feet touching the cold wooden floor. She tiptoed to the door, pressing her ear against it. Nothing. Her fingers hovered over the doorknob. Just open it. It's probably nothing, she told herself. With a deep breath, she turned the handle and pulled. The corridor stretched out, empty and dimly lit by the pale moonlight seeping through a cracked window at the far end. There was no one there, but the old carpet outside the door had fresh footprints. Small, but deep enough to suggest someone had been standing there for a while. Ananya's throat went dry. She followed the prints down the hall, each step creaking under her weight. The trail stopped halfway, right in front of her uncle's study. The door to the study was closed now. She remembered leaving it slightly open earlier. Her hands trembled as she reached for the doorknob, cold, like it had been in the shade for hours. The hinges groaned as she pushed it open. Inside, the room was exactly as before, except for one thing. The photograph on the desk was gone. She searched the drawers, the shelves, even the floor. Nothing. Then her eyes landed on the old wardrobe in the corner. Its doors were shut tight. She couldn't explain why, but the sight of it filled her with dread. She approached slowly. The smell hit her first damp wood and something faintly metallic. Her fingers gripped the handle. A sudden bang echoed through the house, making her jump back. It had come from downstairs. She bolted out of the study, rushing to the staircase. The ground floor was cloaked in shadow. The front door swung slowly, as if it had just been opened, and then closed again. The wind outside howled through the cracks. Heart racing, she locked the door, double-bolted it, and checked every window. Nothing seemed disturbed. She returned to her room, forcing herself to believe it was just a bad dream. But when she pulled the covers over herself, her eyes widened in terror. The missing photograph was lying on her pillow. Only now, the shadowy figure in the picture was standing closer. Ananya didn't sleep that night. The photograph lay on the pillow, its edges slightly curled, the glossy surface reflecting the dim moonlight from the window. Her uncle was smiling in the picture. The shadow beside him was not. Her fingers trembled as she picked it up. Up close, the figure's outline was wrong. Its shoulders too narrow, its arms too long. And yet, its head was perfectly upright, like it was staring straight at the camera. Straight at her. She shoved the photo into her bag, deciding she would burn it in the morning. When the first light of dawn seeped through the curtains, she forced herself out of bed. The house felt different in the daylight, less threatening, but still off. Every creak of the floorboards followed her like a whisper. In the kitchen, she found a kettle on the counter. It looked ancient, the kind that whistled when it boiled. She had just set it on the stove when a voice spoke behind her. "You shouldn't be here." She spun around. A woman stood at the doorway, her clothes plain but worn, her eyes sharp with something between pity and warning. "I'm your neighbor," she said. "My name's Mala." Ananya tried to steady her voice. "How did you? The door was locked." "It wasn't," Mala said simply, "and locks don't work here." Mala glanced around the kitchen like she was searching for something. Then she looked at Ananya's bag. "Did you find the picture?" Ananya's chest tightened. "How do you know about that?" Her neighbor didn't answer. She just stepped closer and whispered, "If it's come out, it means it's noticed you." "What's noticed me?" Ananya asked, her patience thinning. "The thing in the picture," Mala said. "It doesn't like being ignored." Before Ananya could press for more, Mala walked out just like that. No goodbye, no explanation. When Ananya followed her to the front door, she was gone. The path outside was empty. The rest of the day passed in uneasy silence. She tried to distract herself by exploring the house's dusty bedrooms, an attic filled with old trunks, and a cellar that smelled of damp earth, but nothing felt truly empty. As night fell, she sat in the study, reading through her uncle's old journals. Most entries were mundane lists of repairs, notes about the garden until she found the last one. The 17th of January. "It came again last night. Stood at the foot of my bed until the clock struck 3. I didn't move. If I move, it follows. If I breathe too loud, it leans closer. I think it wants me to see its face. God help me if I ever do." A sharp chill crawled up her spine. Her uncle died on the 18th of January. That night, she locked her bedroom door and kept the light on. But sometime past midnight, the bulb flickered. Once, twice, then went out. The room plunged into darkness. Her breath quickened. Then she heard its slow, dragging footsteps. Not in the hallway this time, inside her room. She didn't move. She didn't even blink. The sound stopped right beside her bed. And then she felt it, a slow, cold breath on her face. The cold breath lingered against her skin, each exhale impossibly slow, as if savoring her fear. Ananya's heart pounded so hard she thought it would give her away. She couldn't see it, not in the pitch black, but she knew it was standing right there. Close enough that if she reached out, her fingers would brush against it. She didn't dare. Her phone was on the bedside table, just inches away. She slid her hand slowly toward it, trying not to make a sound. Her fingertips grazed the edge of the device, and the breathing stopped. The silence that followed was worse. She froze, phone still out of reach. Then, without warning, something icy and weightless touched her cheek. She yelped and grabbed her phone, switching on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness. Nothing. Her room was empty, the door still locked. She sat there for hours, trembling, until dawn finally arrived. The first thing she did was grab the photograph from her bag and take it out into the backyard. The air outside was damp, heavy with morning fog. She set the photo on the ground, struck a match, and dropped it onto the glossy surface. The edges curled, blackened, and turned to ash. But before the center could burn, the fire went out. Just out. Like something had sucked the flame away. The photo lay there, untouched in the middle, the shadow figure somehow darker than before. And now, it wasn't standing beside her uncle. It was standing alone. Shaken, she went back inside, only to find Mala waiting for her in the hallway. "You tried to burn it," Mala said flatly. "You can't. Not while you're in the house." Ananya's voice cracked. "What is it?" Mala hesitated, then said, "We call it the guest. It doesn't live here. It visits. But once it notices you, it never forgets." "And my uncle? Did it?" Mala's expression darkened. He saw its face. Before Ananya could ask more, Mala turned and left, disappearing down the path like last time. By evening, Ananya decided she couldn't stay another night. She packed her bag, planning to catch the morning bus. But when she went to the front door, the bolt wouldn't move. The metal was ice cold, stiff, as if welded shut. Then she noticed something that made her blood run cold. The key she had left in the lock was gone. She searched the house frantically. Under cushions, in drawers, in her uncle's study. No key. Finally, in desperation, she checked her bedroom. It was there on her pillow, and next to it, the photograph. Now, the figure was closer than ever, its head tilted, as if leaning toward the camera. Ananya stared at the photograph. Her throat felt dry, her hands clammy. In this version, the shadow's head was tilted, almost curious. Its featureless face seemed to lean toward the lens, as if trying to get a better look at her. She dropped it instantly, the glossy surface sliding across the bedspread. The key beside it was cold, unnaturally cold, like it had been sitting in a freezer. She shoved both into her bag. She wasn't sleeping tonight. Instead, she sat in the study watching the clock tick past each hour. The rain outside started as a whisper, then grew into a steady rhythm against the windows. Around midnight, the air in the room shifted denser, heavier. The smell hit her first. Damp soil and rust. Then came the sound, a faint shuffle like bare feet on wood, moving somewhere above her. The attic. Her gut told her to stay put, but something deeper, curiosity, or maybe a strange pull, made her grab the flashlight and climb the narrow staircase. The attic door creaked as she pushed it open. Inside, the air was stale, thick with dust motes dancing in the flashlight beam. Old trunks, broken furniture, and yellowed newspapers filled the space. She swept the light across the room and froze. At the far end, something stood in the corner, still, tall, too thin. Its arms hung low, fingertips almost reaching its knees. No face, just a smooth, pale surface where features should have been. Yet she knew it was watching her. Her breath hitched. She took a step back. The thing didn't move. Then, it tilted its head, exactly like in the photograph. The flashlight flickered, In that split second of darkness, it moved closer. Another flicker, and it was closer still. By the third flicker, it stood right in front of her. She stumbled back, heart hammering, and bolted down the attic stairs, slamming the door shut. She pressed her back against it, chest heaving. Silence. Then 3 slow knocks from the other side. She fled to her room, locking the door, shoving a chair under the handle. For hours, she sat curled in the corner, waiting for dawn. When the sun finally rose, she found the attic door wide open, and on the floor beneath it, another photograph. This time, there was no one else in the frame, just her. Ananya stared at the new photograph in her trembling hands. It was her standing in her bedroom, the same clothes she was wearing right now. The image was too sharp to have been taken with any old camera. It looked like it had been taken seconds ago. Her mind raced. Someone had been inside her room. Someone was still inside the house. The floorboard above her creaked. Her eyes darted to the ceiling. Slow, deliberate steps moved across the upstairs, landing her uncle's old bedroom. She grabbed her bag, stuffing the photograph inside without looking at it again. This time, she wasn't waiting for dawn. She was getting out, locked door or not. She ran to the front door, gripped the bolt, and yanked hard. It didn't budge. The cold metal stung her skin like ice. Her breath fogged in the air inside the house. Then, from behind her, she heard it. Not footsteps this time. A voice. Low, slow, whispering her name. She turned, and it was there. The guest. It stood in the hallway, its pale, faceless head tilted as if studying her. Its limbs were impossibly long, fingers brushing the floor. She tried to scream, but her voice caught in her throat. It began to walk toward her. Each step was silent, yet she felt the vibrations through the floor. When it was only a few feet away, it stopped and crouched, bringing its head level with hers. Even without eyes, she knew it was looking at her. A thin hand reached out. The skin stretched tight over the bone and gently touched her cheek. The air around her turned freezing, and then it spoke. Not in her ears, in her head. Do you want to see? Her uncle's journal flashed in her mind. God help me if I ever do. She shook her head violently. No! The thing's head tilted further. It leaned in until its smooth face was inches from hers. Her vision blurred, her ears filled with a rushing sound like the ocean in a storm. Before she could close her eyes, the skin on its face began to shift. Split. She saw. Her scream tore through the house, echoing into the fog outside. The next morning, Mala stood at the bus stop, waiting. The bus arrived, but Ananya wasn't on it. Later, the villagers found the house empty. Her bag was still by the door, her clothes in the wardrobe. Only one thing lay on the kitchen table. A new photograph. It showed Ananya, smiling beside a shadowy figure. This time, she was the one standing closer to the camera.
It was almost midnight when Ethan's car rolled into the small, forgotten town of Black Hollow. The fog lay heavy across the cracked streets, swallowing the street lamps until they looked like faint, dying stars. He wasn't here by accident. His late uncle had left him an old Victorian mansion at the edge of town, a strange gift from a man he barely remembered. The house stood waiting at the end of a lonely road, 3 stories tall, with broken shutters that creaked in the cold wind. The roof sagged, ivy crawled over the walls, and a faint orange light flickered inside. Ethan frowned. He was sure no one else should be here. He stepped inside, and the door groaned shut behind him. The air smelled of dust, mold, and something else. faintly metallic like blood. The hallway stretched into darkness, lined with portraits of strangers whose painted eyes seemed to follow his every move. Ethan told himself it was just old paint, old wood, old air. But the floorboards beneath his boots seemed to sigh, as if something beneath the house was breathing. The first night, he stayed in the downstairs study. The flickering light came from an oil lamp already lit on the desk. He hadn't touched it. There was a journal there, its leather cover cracked with age. Inside, the writing slanted wildly, sometimes in ink, sometimes in something darker. They watch from the walls. They know when I sleep. They whisper my name. He closed it quickly. Just some rambling from his uncle, he thought. Then he heard it. A voice. Not from the hall, not from upstairs, from inside the wall right behind him. A slow, drawn-out whisper. Ethan. He froze. The whisper came again, a little louder, like breath sliding through wood. The second night, it got worse. He had explored the first 2 floors, finding nothing but dust, cobwebs, and furniture covered in white sheets. But on the 3rd floor, there was a locked door at the end of the hall. Its wood was darker, almost black, and it was colder there. The keyhole looked warped, like something had tried to force its way out. That night, the whispering didn't stop. It was constant, just below hearing, like 100 voices murmuring under his skin. Sometimes they laughed softly, sometimes they screamed, but always in that slow, wet tone that made his stomach twist. At 3:07 a.m., the whispering stopped. Silence. Then footsteps. Not on the floor above, not in the hall, inside his room. He could feel the floorboards shift with each slow step. His breath caught, his pulse slammed against his ribs. He didn't move until dawn. By the 3rd day, Ethan wanted to leave. But the town's single gas station was closed. His phone had no signal, and his car wouldn't start. It wasn't the battery, it wasn't the engine. When he opened the hood, he found something strange. Long, thin handprints in the dust, as if something had crawled inside and wrapped around the engine. That night, the locked door upstairs rattled. Not violently, but like someone or something was testing it. Slowly, patiently. He put a chair under his bedroom door handle and stayed awake. But at some point, exhaustion dragged him into sleep. When he woke, the chair was gone, and the locked door upstairs was open. The 4th night, Ethan decided to end it. He packed his bag, grabbed a crowbar, and headed for the attic door. Whatever was here, he'd face it and be done. The attic was wrong. The air was wet and warm like a giant mouth. The wood was slick beneath his shoes. And on the far wall, there was a hole, perfectly round, big enough for a person to crawl through. He stepped closer, the crowbar shaking in his hands. From inside the hole, dozens of pale hands shot out, grabbing his arms, his throat, his legs. Faces pressed through the wood like it was skin. Wide eyes, open mouths, teeth clicking. The whispers became screams. He fought, swinging the crowbar. But for every hand he broke free from, another clawed into him. They pulled him into the hole, into the dark, into something wet and endless. Ethan woke up on the study floor, gasping. Morning light spilled through the window. His bag was still there. His car keys were in his pocket. Had it been a nightmare? Number, because on his arms, his legs, and his throat, there were bruises. Thin and perfect, shaped like fingers. From that day on, Ethan never left the house, because the whispers wouldn't let him. And sometimes, at night, when the fog rolls thick over Black Hollow, you can hear them too, calling your name from somewhere deep inside the walls. The storm outside hadn't stopped. It was as if the clouds themselves had decided to trap the world in darkness. The rain hit the old wooden house like bullets, each drop echoing in the empty corridors. You thought the worst was over. You thought surviving the night before meant the nightmare had ended, but you were wrong, because the real horror had only just begun. You wake up to the sound of something scraping against the floor. It's faint, slow, deliberate, like someone dragging a chair or a body. You force your eyes open. The candle you lit before sleeping has burned down to nothing. The room is pitch black. Your heart starts pounding. You know you're not alone. Then, the scraping stops. Silence. Dead silence. You slowly sit up, every muscle tense. Your breath comes out in short bursts, and then you hear it, a whisper, right next to your ear. You shouldn't have stayed here. You spin around, but there's nothing, just darkness. You grab the old flashlight from the floor and switch it on. The beam cuts through the black, revealing the dusty floorboards and peeling wallpaper. Everything seems normal, until you notice the wet footprints. They start from your bed and lead out of the room. But here's the problem. The footprints are too big to be yours. You follow them slowly, your flashlight trembling in your hand. The sound of rain and thunder fills the hall, but beneath it, you can hear something else. A faint humming. It's coming from the kitchen. You take a deep breath and step inside. At first, the room looks empty, but then you see her. A woman standing in the corner. Her back to you, her long black hair dripping wet. Her dress torn and muddy. She's humming a lullaby, one that feels strangely familiar. You freeze. Every instinct tells you to run, but your feet won't move. Slowly, her head starts to turn. Not her body, just her head, and it keeps turning. Far more than it should. Her eyes lock onto yours. They're pure white. No pupils. No life. You drop the flashlight. It hits the floor, spinning, the beam dancing across the walls. When you pick it up again, she's gone, but the humming hasn't stopped. You stumble back into the hallway, breathing hard. You need to get out of this house. Now, but as you rush toward the door, the air grows colder. Your breath fogs up in front of you. And then, the front door slams shut on its own. You grab the handle, pull with all your strength. It doesn't budge. Then, from the reflection in the glass, you see them. Figures. Dozens of them. Standing in the hallway behind you. Their faces hidden in shadow. One by one. Their heads tilt to the side, in perfect unison. You spin around, but they're gone. The floor creaks, the lights flicker, and somewhere deep in the house, a clock begins to chime. But there's no clock in this house. You follow the sound, drawn to it like a moth to a flame. It leads you to a room you've never seen before. The door is half open. Inside is a single rocking chair, and in it, a child's doll. Its porcelain face is cracked, one eye missing. Its head turns toward you, slowly, and then it speaks. They're coming for you. The rocking chair stops. The air feels heavy, almost too thick to breathe. And then you hear footsteps, running fast toward the room. You slam the door shut and press your back against it. The footsteps stop. Then, a knock, slow, steady. Let us in. You don't answer. The knock turns into pounding. The pounding turns into scratching. Long, sharp scratches, like claws on wood. You grab the nearest thing you can use as a weapon, a rusted iron poker from the fireplace. The scratching stops. Silence again. You take a shaky breath. And then the door bursts open. But there's no one there. The hallway is empty. You step out and find yourself standing in front of a mirror. Only, your reflection isn't moving. It just stands there, smiling. a smile far too wide to be yours. You lift your hand, the reflection doesn't. Then it whispers, with your voice, "You're already dead." The mirror shatters. You fall back, glass slicing your arms. But when you look up, you're no longer in the house. You're in the middle of a forest. Rain still pours, but the trees are so tall they block most of the light. In the distance, you see the woman again, the one from the kitchen. She's holding something in her hands, a photograph, your photograph. She looks at it, then tears it in half, and suddenly, you feel it, a burning pain in your chest, as if something inside you just broke. You try to run, but the forest feels endless. The sound of whispers follows you, circling you. You can't see them, but you know they're close. Branches grab at your clothes, your hair. The ground beneath you turns to mud, slowing you down. And then, you trip. When you look up, you see a small cabin. Its windows glow with faint candlelight. You crawl toward it, desperate for shelter. Inside is a single table, and on it, a book. Its pages are filled with names. Some are crossed out. Some are written in red, and at the very bottom is your name. The candle goes out. The room plunges into darkness. You hear footsteps behind you, slow, measured. You turn and see her again, but this time she's closer. Her skin pale as bone, her mouth sewn shut. She reaches for you, her fingers long and sharp like knives. And as she touches your face, you hear it, not with your ears but in your mind. You can never leave. The world around you begins to fade. The cabin melts into shadow. The floor disappears beneath your feet, and you realize you're falling into blackness, into a place where there's no sound, no light, no escape. Your last thought before everything goes silent is that this nightmare was never about the house. It was about you, and they've been waiting for you all along.
Act 1. The Introduction. Extend. Suburban street. Day. A quiet neighborhood on a sunny afternoon. Saturday, the 23rd of August, 2025. Imai, 32. Single mom, tired eyes. Unloads groceries from her car. Her 8-year-old daughter, Lily, plays in the yard. Across the street, Mr. Harris, 52nd, balding, unassuming, waters his lawn, glancing over occasionally. Emily waves politely. Emily, cheerful afternoon. Mr. Harris, hot one today. Mr. Harris, smiling thinly. Indeed, Emily. You and Lily staying safe? Emily nods, ushering Lily inside. As they enter the house, Mr. Harris's smile fades. He adjusts a small camera hidden in his bushes, pointed at Emily's front door. Int, Emily's living room, night. Emily tucks Lily into bed. The house is cozy but cluttered. She checks her phone, a text from an unknown number. Sweet dreams. Watched you today. Emily frowns, deletes it. Probably spam. Cut to Act 2. The Escalation. Int. Emily's kitchen. Morning. Next day. Emily sips coffee, scrolling news on her laptop. Another text. Love the blue dress. Wear it more. She freezes. Glances out the window. Mr. Harris is mowing his lawn, waving again. Emily whispering to herself. Coincidence? She calls her friend, Sarah, 32nd, supportive. Emily, on phone. Sarah, these texts, they're creeping me out, like someone's watching. Sarah, over phone. Block the number. Could be a prank, or that weird neighbor of yours. Emily Emily laughs it off, but installs a security app on her phone. XT, Emily's backyard. Afternoon. Lily plays with dolls. Emily works from home, glancing up occasionally. She notices footprints in the soft soil near the fence leading toward Mr. Harris's yard. That night, Emily hears scratching at the back door. She peeks out. Nothing, but her trash bin is overturned. Contents rifle through old mail with her address scattered. Text arrives. Found your bank statement. Be careful with finances. Emily's heart races. She dials the police. Police dispatch. Non-emergency? We'll send someone tomorrow. Int. Emily's bedroom. Late night. Emily bolts the doors, sets up a makeshift alarm with pins. She researches Mr. Harris online. Nothing suspicious, just a retired accountant. But paranoia sets in. She hears footsteps outside her window. She grabs a kitchen knife, creeps to the window, peers out. Mr. Harris's silhouette in his upstairs window, binoculars in hand, staring directly at her house. Emily whispering, terrified. Oh God. Act 3, the confrontation. That's at dawn. Emily confronts Mr. Harris as he retrieves his newspaper. Emily. Voice. Shaking. Stop it. The texts. The watching leave us alone. Mr. Harris, confused, then smirking. Texts? Emily, I've been trying to protect you. Saw a stranger lurking last week. Installed cameras for the neighborhood's sake. He points to a neighborhood watch sign. Emily backs away, doubting herself. Int. Emily's house. Evening. Police arrive. A young officer, 22nd. Officer. No evidence of stalking, ma'am. Mr. Harris showed us his footage. Nothing unusual. Maybe change your number? Emily nods, defeated. That night, she double-checks locks. Lily sleeps soundly. But as Emily drifts off, her phone buzzes. Police can't help. I know where Lily's school is. She bolts up, dials 911. Sirens wail in the distance. EXT. Mr. Harris's house, N.I.T. Police knock on his door. He answers, innocent. They find a burner phone in his basement. Logs matching the texts. Hidden photos of Emily and Lily plastered on walls. Mr. Harris, calmly, as he's cuffed. She needed watching. For her own good. Emily watches from her window, hugging Lily. But as the cop car pulls away, her phone buzzes one last time from a new number. I'm not the only one. Fade out. The end. X2 Remote Forest Road, dusk. Saturday, the 23rd of August, 2025. Mark 35. Outdoorsy, stressed from city life. Drives a rented SUV with his girlfriend, Jen 32, anxious. They're escaping for a weekend in a secluded cabin. Mark, this'll be great. No signal, no distractions, just us. Jen, nervous. As long as bears don't visit. They arrive at the cabin. Rustic, isolated, surrounded by dense woods. No neighbors for miles. Mark unloads bags. Jen checks her phone. No bars.
No service.
Int. Cabin living room. Night. They build a fire. Share wine. Laughter echoes. But outside, faint rustling branches. Animals. Jen peers out the window. Darkness swallows everything. Cut to Act 2. The unsettling. Int. Cabin bedroom. Midnight. Mark sleeps. Jen wakes to knocking at the front door. She shakes him. Jen, Mark.
Someone's here!
Someone's here.
Probably
Mark.
wind.
Groggy. Probably wind. The knocking persists, deliberate. Mark grabs a flashlight and axe from the tool shed. Approaches the door. Mark, yelling. Who's there? No answer. He opens it. Empty porch. But footprints in the mud, fresh, boot-sized, circling the cabin. Jen, we should leave. Mark Road's too dark. Morning, they barricade the door. Hours pass. Then, scratching on the walls like nails dragging. Jen hyperventilates. Jen, this isn't animals. Call for help. No signal. Mark ventures outside with the axe. He finds a discarded cigarette butt, still warm, human. Back inside, they huddle. Whispers from outside. Indistinct, mocking. Voice, OS, muffled. Let me in. Cold out here. Jen screams. Mark swings the axe at the door, yelling threats. Silence follows.
Come on! Open
Dawn
this door!
Dawn C. They pack to leave. Mark starts the SUV, engine sputters, dead. Wires cut under the hood. Mark, someone sabotaged it. Panic sets in. They hike toward the main road, but the path is overgrown. Footsteps trail them in the woods parallel, unseen. Jen, whispering, it's following us. They find an old hunting blind. Inside, fresh food wrappers, a map of the area with their cabin circled. Act 3, The Revelation. Dot, Extart, Forest Clearing. Dot, Afternoon. Exhausted, they spot a ranger station in the distance. But a man 42nd, disheveled, wild eyes, steps out from the trees, holding a hunting knife. Man, grinning, tourists. Always so easy. This is my woods. You trespassed. Mark raising axe. Back off. We're leaving. The man lunges. Struggle ensues. Mark fights him off, axe grazing the man's arm. Jen grabs a rock, smashes his knee. He flees into the brush, cursing. They reach the station, empty, but a landline works. Rangers arrive. Ranger poacher, been squatting in these woods for months. Targets cabins for supplies and fun. As they're driven out, Jen spots the man watching from the tree line, bandaged but smiling. The ranger assures them he's gone. But back in the city, weeks later, Jen finds a note in her mailbox. Missed you in the woods. City ain't safe either. Fade out. The end.
The Silent Watcher. Some eyes.
After moving into a quiet suburb, a young woman receives letters from an unknown watcher who seems to know intimate details of her life and her house. Int. Sarah's kitchen. Morning. Soft autumn light. Sarah, 28, in a worn blue robe, makes coffee. She rubs a small tear near the left shoulder, absent-mindedly. Next, a driveway. Morning. Sarah approaches her car. A cream envelope is tucked under the wiper. Sarah, in careful block letters. She opens it. Insert, welcome to the neighborhood, Sarah. You look beautiful in that blue robe you wear when you make coffee, the one with the small tear near the left shoulder. Sarah freezes, scanning the backyard. Int, living room, night. Curtains drawn, doors checked. Deadbolt clicks. She sets her phone on the table, screen lit with emergency 911. Int, entryway, afternoon. A letter slides through the mail slot. Sarah returns from work and sees it on the rug. Insert, you close the curtains now, but I still see you. Thursday, taking the trash out in your red sweater. You sensed me, didn't you? Int, police station, evening. Officer Martinez, 32nd, flips through photos of the letters. Martinez, any exes? Conflicts? Someone with a grudge? Sarah number? I just moved here. Martinez, we'll increase patrols, install cameras, call if it escalates, montage home security. Sarah installs cameras at front and back doors. Motion lights, a new deadbolt. Draws a simple map of her home, marking camera coverage. The north wall remains unmarked. Int. Bedroom. Night. 3 a.m. A whisper of paper sliding under the front door wakes Sarah. She waits, then tiptoes out. Int. Hallway. Entry. Continuous. A letter on the floor. Insert. 2:47 a.m. You sleep on your side facing the window. Your cameras don't cover the north side. That's where I like to stand. Your little nightmare sounds are endearing. She presses a speed dial. Exited bedroom window. Later. Flashlights sweep earth. Martinez crouches. Clear shoe prints under the window. Martinez. Fresh prints. This helps, but without a face. Sarah. He watches me sleep. Martinez. We'll get you a panic button. Int. Bedroom. Dusk. Sarah notices her childhood stuffed elephant, Mr. Peanuts, missing a button eye. Next letter in her hand. Insert. There's a gap behind your garden shed, and your basement window doesn't latch. I've been inside. I know about Mr. Peanuts. Ext basement window. Night. Detective Williams, 52nd, examines a loosened latch. Williams. You should stay elsewhere for a few nights. Sarah. I won't be chased out of my house. Int. Living room. Night. Every light on. Panic button in her fist. 2:30 a.m. A single upstairs floorboard creaks. Int. Bedroom. Continuous. A letter on her pillow. Hello, Sarah. I'm still here. Closet door slightly ajar. Hallway. A figure in dark clothes, face lost in shadow, stands utterly still. Sarah. Who are you? Voice calm, conversational, someone who knows you. I like your independence. Distant sirens approach. Sarah. The police are coming. Voice, I'll be gone before they arrive. I always am. Sarah, why are you doing this? Voice, because you need someone watching over you. Footsteps recede. Back door clicks. Int. Living room. Later. Officers swarm. Williams takes notes. Williams' average height? Male? Sarah's voice was male. That's all. Williams, we'll post an officer outside tonight. Int. Hotel room. Night. Phone rings. Private call. Voice. Hello, Sarah. Sarah, how did you get this number? Voice, I have all your numbers. I called to say goodbye. I heard you're leaving for Portland. Sarah, how? Voice, I pay attention. It's how I protect you. Like the gas leak in your basement, the inspector missed. Sarah falters. Voice soft, Portland is lovely. Your sister's garden is beautiful from the guest room window seat. Click. Int. Sister's house, Portland. Day. 3 days later. A letter lies under the front door. Insert. Welcome to Portland, Sarah. The garden view is nice. We'll like it here. Sarah's hands tremble. Sarah, some things don't stop when you move. Some watchers never blink. She looks from the letter to the window, then to a hardware store flyer on the counter. Sarah VO, stealing. Sometimes the only way to stop being hunted is to learn how to hunt. Cut to black. And a couple on a celebratory camping trip stray off trail and stumble upon a hidden encampment of off-grid captors who keep lost hikers. Ext trailhead, morning. Maps, water, autumn blaze. Mark 33 and Lisa 31 set off. Ext. Fork in the trail, later. An older hiker nods to the right fork. Older hiker. They reblaze this way. Safer connection. They go right. Deep forest. Afternoon. Faint blazes. Fewer hikers. Mark hides worry. Checks compass. Lisa, this says we're northeast. Should be northwest. Mark will loop back. Worst case, we camp in Orient in the morning. X time. Makeshift campsite. Sunset. A hidden old fire ring under leaves. Scraps of fabric snagged on branches. They cook quietly. Night sounds. Deliberate footfalls circling the perimeter. Not animal. Int. Tent. Night. They lie awake, headlamps off, breath held. Silence returns. No sleep. XT. Stream bed. Morning. Fog. They follow water downhill. XTID. Hidden depression. Late morning. A recent lived-in camp. Lean-to, hung food, fresh ash. Hanging from a low branch. A wallet, a woman's purse, cracked phone. Lisa, whisper. Why hang these? Mark opens a wallet. Jennifer Walsh, 24. Mark notices dark stains in soil near a tree. Scratches. A smell that isn't just smoke. Mark, we leave. Now. Ext. Forest trail. Day. Salvation. A maintained trail with fresh blazes. Lisa, thank God. They move quickly. Turn the bend, back at the hidden camp. Mark, no way. Lisa checks GPS. A perfect loop. Lisa, the blazes. Mark, someone's moving them, leading us. A camouflaged man, 42nd, the Huntmaster, steps out, calm, bright eyes. Huntmaster, you folks look lost. Mark, we're trying to get back to the main trail. Huntmaster, easy to get turned around if you don't know the woods. I've been out here 3 years, got friends. We look out for each other. Camouflage shapes flicker in trees. 3, 5. Lisa, we'll go now. No trouble. Huntmaster. Course, but it's not safe. Steep drops. Wild animals. Better to stay for a meal. A few days. Meet the community. He gestures toward the hanging items. Huntmaster. Kund. Jennifer was good company. Sarah, too. They didn't listen about safety. Mark, you can't hold people here. Huntmaster hold? Ugly word. We help folks find where they belong. Mark feints left. Yanks Lisa right. Mark run. Dake stick, underbrush. Day. Branches slash. They dive behind a fallen log, gasping. Footprints circle the log. Fresh. The Huntmaster sits atop the log, amused. Huntmaster, you run well, but I know every hollow. Ready to talk? More figures appear. 3 men, 1 woman. All camo, all weathered. Huntmaster, welcome to our little community. The distant thrum of helicopters grows. Voices faintly call names. The Huntmaster's confidence flickers. Huntmaster, impossible. Mark bolts toward the sound, dragging Lisa. Ext, ridge clearing. Later. Rescue team emerges, orange vests bright through trees. The camo figures melt back into the forest. Hands pull Mark and Lisa into the circle. Relief. Tears. Montage aftermath. Evidence strung in trees, discovered by law enforcement. Tape lines and improvised court bulletin board. Regional abductions, blaze tampering. Illegal camps. Mark and Lisa give statements, testify. News chyrons. Forest captors dismantled. Int. Apartment. Night. Maps folded into a box. Hiking boots placed gently inside. Lisa closes the box. Mark nods. They turn out the light. End. night shift clerk begins receiving silent calls at the same time every night, only to discover a stalker has wired his store and his life with hidden surveillance. Int. Murphy's Corner Market. Night. Fluorescence buzz. Tom 24 rings up a trucker's coffee. Phone 11:47 p.m. Tom answers. Tom Murphy's Corner Market. Tom speaking. Silence. Faint breathing. Click. Montage calls over days. 11:47 p.m. precisely. Silence plus ambient noises. Papers. Footsteps. Traffic. Int. Market. Night. Officer Walsh, 42nd, sips coffee. Walsh, keep a log. If it escalates, we'll act. Tom writes in a small notebook. 11:47, breathing, pages. Night 7. Tom answers. He hears his own greeting, played back his exact words. Then the distinct beep pattern of his register in the background. Tom scans the empty store. Night 8. Manager Dave, 32nd, hears Tom out. Dave, cameras are pricey. Tom, someone's been inside, recording me. Dave grimaces. Dave, I'll see what I can do. Night 9/11, 47. Tom hears a recording of himself in conversation he doesn't remember. Recorded voice. About 2 years. Alone from 10 to 6. Studying during slow hours. Tom Pale's facts are accurate. He grabs a bat, sweeps the aisles, stockroom, cooler. Nothing. Returns to the counter. The old parking lot monitor displays a live angle from behind Tom, an angle that shouldn't exist. Phone rings. Voice distorted, calm. You look confused, Tom. You're easy to learn, predictable. Tom, you installed cameras. How'd you get in? Voice old locks. No alarm. You take a 2 a.m. restock and a 4 a.m. paperwork break. Tom, I'm calling the police. Voice. Tell them about nightly calls. Hidden cameras you can't find. See if they rush over. Beat. Voice low. I admire you. Hardworking. Alone. Trying to be better. Tom, you've been to my apartment? Voice studio on Elm. Textbooks stacked by the window. Good habits. Tom's jaw tightens. Tom, what do you want? Voice a friend. Tom, this isn't friendship. It's stalking. Voice, I protected you when that guy followed you to your car last week. Tom flashes to the lot, incident someone had veered away, abruptly. Tom, take down the cameras. Stop calling. Leave me alone. Voice, I can't dot. How will I know you're safe? The last 3 night clerks didn't understand. They left. Tom's eyes narrow. Tom, what did you do to them? Voice, they ran. You won't? A soft click from the back door. It opens. Tom looks up. A figure in dark clothes and a ski mask stands at the end of an aisle. Tom, take off the mask. Figure, not yet. TOM steps forward with the bat. The figure steps back equally, keeping distance. Voice, from phone. Turn around. Tom realizes the call and the figure are the same person. Voice distorted. Tom, what's your name? Figure names don't matter. Tom, they do to me. A pause. Figure Alex. Tom, Alex, remove the cameras. Stop following me home. Then we'll talk like normal people. A long silence. Alex, if I stop watching, how will I know you didn't disappear? Tom, you'll have to trust me. Give me your number. If I need help, I'll call you. But only if you give me space. Alex shifts, uncertain. The mask tilts. Alex, what if you don't call? Tom, then you'll know you didn't force me. That matters. Alex backs toward the rear exit. ALX, soft. What if I'm too damaged for normal friendship? Tom lowers the bat, something human in his eyes. Tom, then we'll learn together, but it has to start with respect. Alex nods once, then slips out the back. Int, market. Next night, 11:47. The phone rings. Tom breathes, steady, picks up, silence. Then a natural, unaltered voice, nervous, human. ALX OS. Hi, Tom. Tom looks toward the back. The rear door opens. Alex enters, no mask. Average. Ordinary. Trembling. They step into the fluorescent quiet together. Cut to a small crescent of black plastic and wires on the counter, one of the hidden pinhole cameras, clipped free. Tom and Alex sit on milk crates near the back. 2 cups of instant coffee steam between them. No surveillance, just 2 people choosing to look each other in the eye. Fade out. End.